This job is life or death. Standards must be met. And not just met, at every level, we should seek to exceed the standard, to push the envelope, to compete. It's common sense.
I was really inspired by the first story I want to get to today. I was inspired earlier this week when Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth kind of just dropped the hammer on his expectations for what the United States military should look like. First and foremost, no more wokeness. Get out of that, whether you're talking about climate change or just what's happening here every single day. So stop. Let's be smart. And secondly, how he feels like our leadership and the soldiers should be carrying themselves, especially physically. Take a look.
Today, at my direction, each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only. Because this job is life or death. Standards must be met. And not just met, at every level, we should seek to exceed the standard, to push the envelope, to compete. It's common sense. And core to who we are and what we do, it should be in our DNA. Today, at my direction, we are also adding a combat field test for combat arms units that must be executable in any environment at any time and with combat equipment. These tests, they'll look familiar. They'll resemble the Army Expert Physical Fitness Assessment or the Marine Corps Combat Fitness Test. I'm also directing that warfighters in combat jobs execute their service fitness test at a gender-neutral, age-normed male standard scored above 70%.
I love it. Praise God. I mean, give me a break. I wrote down a couple of things. First of all, common sense, which is what Donald Trump ran on here. But secondly, getting at the physical aspect back up to the highest male standard. It doesn't mean women aren't invited or included. We just know that men and women's bodies are different, and there are certain things that women cannot do that men can, right? Follow the science. It's really that simple. I asked my dad about this, and you've met my dad. The whole Steele family loves you basically more than they love me at this point, literally. But you met my dad.
You gotta, I said it last week, but you have such a freaking great family. It's just so obvious and real and
Thank you. I'm so blessed. I do. I have the best family, the best parents. And I asked my dad about this. I get his opinion on so many things. I was like, Dad, what about this? And he, tries to just be very stoic and professional. And he's like, it's about damn time. Like, where have we gone? My dad, for context, is 79 years old, a 1970 graduate of West Point, broke the color barrier there as the first Black football player ever, varsity football player. And again, there's always been standards in the U.S. Army and all of the branches. And for some reason, I think we know some reasons why, it has gone south. So I absolutely love this. And now that, look, to my left, come here, husband. Dave, you know my Dave. And Dave, my Dave, was Army officer for
there you go.
For 7 years, did a tour in Iraq, has seen it all and done it. And I'm sorry, ad lib here. Your perspective is a lot more important than mine as to why this is so basic and so crucial.
Yeah, I mean, the job of the U.S. military is not to be a social experiment. It's to close with, destroy the enemy, our country's enemies. And so I think, our enemies don't care about DEI or any sort of, gender identities. All they care about is, trying to kill us and make our lives, awful. And so, I think he's on to something. There's probably some different ways I would have said some of the things that he said, but at the end of the day, I think the message is clear, and it is about time. I have a lot of friends that are still in the military. They feel strongly about this. They want to lead soldiers that can go out and kill bad guys because that's what they're hired to do. And we'll see where it goes.
Well, I love, Dave, that you just said it's not supposed to be a social experiment, because that's what we've been subjected to for the last couple of years. And you guys both come from military families, so your families have been directly affected by it. But the entire country gets affected by it when you see people that are obese or are dressed in the wrong clothes, or however you want to word that, or just the series of things where people are getting promotions because of skin color and all these other things. And it's like, okay, maybe you can do that in certain institutions and it can kind of work for a while. You could kind of fake it. But to your point, Dave, the military, probably not. And I do have to say, Hegseth, when he got nominated, to be the at that time, what was the Department of Defense, now the Department of War. The thing that I kept saying about him was, remember, they were really going after him. Everybody really, the media really wanted him taken out. And they went with these bullshit stories about him being an alcoholic and all, which I have a funny story about, I'll tell you in a sec. But they were really trying to take him out. And I kept saying the reason they were trying to take him out, there were two reasons. And I think we just saw the second one really powerfully. He had a great resume. He has a great resume to have the job, having served. But it's what we just saw right there. The guy looks the part. He can speak. He knows how to communicate. He is TV ready. He's camera ready. He's clear. He can read off the prompter. And that's what you need. You need someone with the resume and then someone with the ability to get it all across to the people. And I think he is quite literally the perfect person for the job. I was completely inspired by the entire speech. And I'll just tell you one quick thing on the Pete was an alcoholic side of this. About 2 years ago, Sage, you've been there a million times, the main Fox building in Midtown, New York City. I did a bunch of Fox hits, and then usually at the end, Del Frisco's, great steak joint, is right next door. I usually go to Del Frisco's for a steak. And I went one night, I was with a couple of friends, and I saw Pete, and he was sitting alone at the bar upstairs. And I walked up to him, and you know me, I've got my tequila, and I walked up to him, and we chatted for a few minutes. I said, Pete, let me get you a drink. He's like, no, I'm not, thanks, Dave, I'm not drinking tonight. I thought, that's not an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, when they were all, this was before they were breaking the stories of him being an alcoholic. But I was just like, an alcoholic doesn't sit at the bar and not have a drink. You know, and then when someone offers to buy them a drink, also doesn't have a drink. So it's all nonsense. It's so great to see them cleaning this stuff up. If you'd like to see more sane takes on our insane world, check out our direct message clips playlist. And if you want to watch more full episodes of the Actual Friends podcast, they're both right over here. And if you'd like to get notified of all future Actual Friends podcast videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.